Hey guys, welcome to a pretty important video series here that we're going to talk through. I've shot this video 4 times now, and I just can't seem to get all the points touched on. So hopefully I can kind of simplify this. It's not a simple matter is the problem. So it's a very important topic, a lot of points. So maybe we'll touch on some points here and then roll that into another video. It is going to be the start of kind of a series here, if you will, so follow along with this one, because there's a lot of things here that we're going to cover that I believe that you don't want to miss here. So what we're doing today is we're just letting this roll. It's not going to be one of your fancy edited videos, not that my videos are fancy at all, but it's more of a podcast, I guess, a live, right from me, right straight to you kind of a talk. What's going on, what we're going to chat about is something that I'm not just something that I've been researching, so to finish that topic. I'm not just a hunter, a bow hunter, let's say, from October 1st to January 17th or whatever your ending date is. What you're going to find with me is I'm a whitetail geek, such as a lot of you that tune into this channel are, and a lot of the clients that I know that follow along are as well. This is, it's a 365 day a year obsession for us, I guess you could say, right? So, hence the logos and the t-shirts that I have made that say, stay whitetail driven 365. And so that's me. If that's not you, that's okay. But that's me. And I think that one of the reasons that, I try to promote that slogan in my life, or that motto, and keep that live, is because, I think that the way I run my business, maybe other folks don't, and that's okay, but the way I run my business is very personal. And so what I do is, I try to train myself and educate myself, so I'm bringing, the latest and greatest stuff to you guys. And if there is something that changes in the industry, or the way that the whitetail world works, I like to bring that to you firsthand. Now, with that said, I'm not talking about the latest and greatest product that pops out that just because it's popular to the hunting industry. I'm not the channel here that's going to jump on that and grab a hold of that stuff. I think that there's a lot of gimmicks out there. So I think over time, and we've got a really, really cool deal here coming down the pipe here that I think all of you are going to benefit from. We are going to benefit from it hugely on a business side of it, because it's a direct connect rate for you guys for your your shopping needs, especially maybe going into the holidays, right? So we'll be bringing that to you here shortly. But on the topic of the video today is, this is not something that, you just, maybe there is a lot of it. I've seen some of this, and I kind of get that feeling about some of it, but this is not a video that I just seen this and thought, what, somebody else posted this, I want to be part of this, and you jump on and make a video similar. This is something that I've been studying for years. So let's get right into it, I guess. Let's do that. The rut. The rut is something the whitetail rut is something that all of us kind of, make and create our whitetail passion around, right? No matter if it's on our personal properties, or if you travel to outfitters or lease properties, or whatever the case is. It seems that is, the rut is a focal point. So to me, it's a huge focal point for the business, because it's not, the rut to me, as if you follow along with the channel and go back on some of the playlists, like I always hit on there with you, you'll see that the rut to me is just not that, 3-day window where, boy, things are happening, and that's what we deem as the peak of the rut. And, it's that the rut is more than that. The rut is the pre-rut, the rut is the post-rut. It's total, to me, when I put the rut label on something, that takes in everything from pre-rut to post-rut, and the peak of the rut included. So keep that in mind as we move forward here in this talkings. What I'm speaking of is the rut as we know it, the topic of the video here, the rut as we know it, is changing. You know, what is the rut as we know it? So I'm the guy that's going to teach, and I do teach, that the rut happens the same time every year in your area. Now, what makes me different from some folks out there are, I'm going to tell you that the peak of the rut changes, the dates fluctuate, but the rut itself, like I said, going into the pre-rut to the post-rut, that time period, so that 30-day window, let's say, you know, we can put that over, or you know, blanket that time period in your region, and you know, kind of help you hunt through that and strategize through that, and you know, prepare your habitat for that. So that's easy, right, to do, easier to do, right, if you put a blanket over a 30-day window instead of saying, okay, this is the peak of the rut here, this is the peak of the rut there, and it never changes, and if you miss it, you're a horrible hunter, right? And that's not me. That's not the case. I don't feel that. There's very few of those situations that happen. There's more so, there's things that happen that change the rut itself. And over the last couple of years, that's been something on my plate, or in my process, my thought process of, I see this, you know, so put yourself in my shoes for a minute. I see this on my personal hunting properties. I see this on, you know, last year 64 clients, this year 80 clients, plus the stuff that we're doing here on the farm. So like I said, I'm a whitetail geek. This is 365 days a year of studying this stuff. And it's one of those topics that always comes back up. You know, some topics you talk of a product, or you talk of does, or whatever the case is, you know, and then you never talk about them again for 6 months. The rut is not one of those cases. It's something that we talk about. I probably talk about it 30 times a week, you know, especially with the business, so, or through the channel. So what it is the rut as we know it is changing. You know, there's certain things out there that make the rut, and what changes the rut. So here are a couple things that we're going to talk about. There was some studies recently released about why this is happening. You know, the rut as we know it across the entire whitetail range, not just as I know it, not just as you know it, but all over the whitetail range. There are some let's just say whitetail gurus or whitetail professionals, and I don't deem myself as one of those, but that know a lot more than me, that are out there that are starting to release this stuff, you know. So one being Dr. Deere. I don't know if any of you follow along with James or not, but I highly recommend that you do. I've got a direct connection with James from years ago, when I was managing the high fence ranches and stuff. And that man, whether you believe in any of that, high fence, low fence, deer management, non-deer management, that man and a few others in this industry have forgotten more about whitetails than I'll ever learn. I mean, that's something that I want to touch on. Is I think there's a generation or a 20-year, 15-year you know, window of people, and I'm in that classification, that are the know-it-alls. You know, you got YouTube channels and social media platforms, and what I say is the gospel, and believe me or believe none kind of approach. And the rut never changes. And if you don't kill a mature whitetail during the rut, well, you're a bad hunter. Well, that whole outlook is a pipe, not a dream, but a pipe vision. And there are a lot of things and a lot of folks, sadly, that follow that, you know, that mindset of nothing changes, and there's nothing out there that can change it other than you. And that outlook on stuff, you know, hurts their perspective, and I think it hurts the people that follow them. So that's why I'm bringing you this video today, is because I'm one of those people that are going to tell you that I learn all the time. You know, you learn from the good, you learn from your mistakes, on life and also business, obviously. But in this world, there is something changing, and if you are watching this and you haven't experienced something changing with the rut, you know, I question where you're at. I not question your abilities or where, that side of it. I just question where you're at, that you're not experiencing in a change in the rut, because there's a million people around the world right now as far as hunters that are changing. And I'm not talking about consultants. I'm not talking about professionals. I'm talking about all of us as far as hunters that experience the rut. So there's a lot of this out there, and what they're finding as stuff this is releasing is what is coming out. People are finding that it's changing, and it's changing. Is it for the good or is it for the bad? And that's what we're going to sort through as a team here. So what I've done is I kind of broke this down in my mind, as far as, like I said, a series coming through here. Dr. Deere there, he's talked about some things. There's multiple people out that are starting to look at this. Penn State is really digging into it. I know the Deer Lab out of Mississippi State University is really digging into this. There's a lot of stuff going on, and so I encourage you to look at this through the channel here, the stuff that I'm going to bring to you, and also do your own research and look at this other stuff. And I'll try to do my best to put some links on their findings as well and their teachings. So there's a couple of moving parts here to look at. One is you got to look at the source, right? And I'm pretty black and white when it comes to this channel, and trying to take a humble approach. I look, and is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know. Hopefully it's right. But I'm the humble guy out there, and I appreciate the folks that reach out. And the older I get, maybe the more humble I get. But I'm wanting to learn. I'm wanting to know what this is. As the reason is I have to go to 80 clients a year, and I'm probably dealing with 125, 150 clients a year through phone calls and stuff we're doing here at the farm this year and all that stuff. And so it's not just a, hey, my farm is the gospel, and if it doesn't happen this way, it doesn't happen at all. There's always stuff that's changing. So the couple points here that we're going to touch on is stuff to focus on here in this video that we're going to touch on real quick, so we can keep it as short as we possibly can, and then roll this into the next one here eventually. The first things we're going to talk about is the influencers. What does really influence the rut, right? So what we're finding is there's change. So what's changing it? So we tie this together, and what I'm going to do through these videos is I've got a background in livestock, and I've also got a background in livestock breeding, and whether it's through my side as far as the mainly the hogs, raising hogs throughout my life, and then raising show hogs, and then also X's with horses, and family with horses and stuff like that. Yes, it's livestock, and yes, it's separate from deer, but it's the mentality, the biological look at that is what triggers stuff and what changes stuff and why they react. So why I brought that up is this. So when you're watching this stuff and collecting the information, is it done in small high fence areas and breeding facilities? Is it done in open range, free range property settings? Is it done on 20,000, 30,000 acre ranches? Is it done on the normal Joe Blow properties, Joe Hunter properties, right, that relate to all of us across the country, or is it done on a strictly managed piece of property in the state of Illinois or Kansas, right? There's a lot of variances there. I could very easily do that here and make a closed window approach here on Kentucky, and but that's not what makes the entire whitetail range work. So you take that into consideration, filter through it. But here's the point. The point is, each one of those, whether it's high fence, free range, small, large properties, whatever the case is, there are some very valuable information that can come from each one of them. Because what we're going to touch on, what changes it, or the influencers. Like I said, so there's going to be feed talks. There's going to be size of the track. There's going to be region, per region. There's going to be weather, moon, health standards, habitat improvements in areas. All of that stuff creates and also changes the rut. And I think there's a lot more moving to it than a lot of folks understand. One of the things to focus on here, so that's the first point of it, is to keep an open mind and you do some study, and hopefully you follow along with this here on the channel. And the second point is going into the post-rut here. This is to me, this can be, because of the changes that are coming here, this can be a make or break time for your small properties that we deal with. You know, the average last year was 60, the year before it was 40. You know, this year it might be 50 acre average size, you know, of parcels that we work on and deal with, you know, clients on their properties. So we need to sort that out and put that into our real world situation here. But if you are in the situation and you've got left tags, do you harvest those? Do you, if you got buck tags left, should you be taking those 3.5 or 4.5-year-old bucks? If you do, what will it do? If you don't, what will it do? Those are all things that we're going to talk about, and I'm 16 minutes into this video right now, and there's just no possible way to put it into one video here. So what I'm doing here, guys, is that this is just a starter. So we touched on some points, we talked on some topics, and then we're going to break this down over the next couple of videos on what's to come, right? What are we going to do? How are we going to react to this? You know, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Where's this research coming from? What's it mean to you? What's it mean to me? So I think it's a pretty cool situation that we're going to do here. And, you know, I'm not the only one doing this across the industry, guys. So, you know, I encourage you to you know, look at other places as well. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to simplify it. Hence the reason I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Bringing this to you guys this way is, like I said, I've shot this video 4 times now, and I get kind of on a tangent, it seems like, and I start focusing on one too many things, and all of a sudden one of these topics turns into a 20-minute video. And so we're gonna break that apart, and we're gonna kind of dissect that as we go as a team here. So that means more to you, and it means more to me, and you know, we can work together through that. So stay tuned. We're going to cut this one short. We're creeping up at 17.5 minutes here, but very informational stuff here coming at us as a whole, and hopefully, you know, I'm gonna do my best to bring that directly to you guys on an educational side, so we can learn to this together. Closing point here, post-rut. There are some good weather fronts coming all over the whitetail range. I've been on the phone this week with folks from Wisconsin. I've been on the phone here. I've got some meetings coming up with some Kentucky folks tonight, and Michigan this week as well. Florida last week, Texas last week. So talking about some stuff coming in, you know, in weather related reasons, and what that means in your area as far as the post-rut. Some great time coming here, and I think some of these points that we're going to talk about, I'm going to try to do one right to follow this, is to get started on what, you know, some things to look for here. So because there's a lot of us still in the woods. I've got 45 days left or whatever it is here left in Kentucky to hunt, you know, so a lot of us are still in the timber. So to try to relate that to your hunting aspects, you know, and where you should be and how you should be doing that, or should you give up, you know, and that's hopefully not the case. Don't give up. You know, kind of buckle your seatbelt on this one. This is a long-winded introduction that I had to do, because if I try to do this long-winded introduction on every one of these videos, we're going to be 30 minutes into each one of them. So I'm trying to keep them, you know, as short, as informational, and right to you as possible. Like I said, this isn't flashy. This isn't you know, some edits. We're not going to show you a bunch of videos of you know, B-roll and all the bucks on the scrapes and stuff like that. This is just from me to you. And the video following will take some time and do some more edits and put some more stuff in there, because they'll be shorter. So a lot of good stuff to come, guys. And we're gonna work through this one together. And I think it's for the best for everybody involved. Whether you're a client on the 2022 books or not, I highly recommend tuning into this one as we go. Thanks, guys.